Alright, here is the second video. Remember, we still have the private group link to drop and a little bit of alpha that I've figured out about how to avoid certain things that I've been seeing on Twitter. But I mean, right off the bat, you have to realize some of the patterns. Even in these clips I'm sending you, some of the patterns about how these people speak, how they treat other people, and the commonalities, and who hangs out with who. Follow that track record around as well. And then just like I do, like I'm not saying anything super smart to these guys or super creative. I'm just trying to keep them honest. I'm just trying to answer their questions and just note how they divert people away and talk over you and you know, I'm not saying any of them are scammers. I'm just saying this is weird behavior and this is the kind of stuff that gets me suspect on people so that I don't take them too seriously. That's about it. So, like I said, both of the alphas still to drop. One's the private group link, one is some tips. Here we go. Alright, and now let's see what we got here. So this is Alchemist saying I attacked him again. I don't know what else happens after that, but we've already proven that's wrong. Let's see what he says.
Maybe keep my name out your
Okay,
mouth.
show me where I did it, please.
You added me this morning,
Show
you
me it
fucking
then.
moron. Do you forget? Okay.
No, show me what I said.
He'll
wait.
never show me
I
that.
don't even read what you said. You're irrelevant
What?
to me. But
You contradict
tagged me.
yourself every 30 seconds. You imitate
Shut
me
the
like a
fuck up.
child.
You're an
What are you gonna
idiot.
do?
You
Call
are
me
a
cuck
child.
again, which is
Have
what
you
I called
ever
you?
touched a
You
tit?
can't think for yourself.
Have you ever touched a tit?
Oh my
Here he
god,
goes
Have you
again.
ever touched a tit?
No, man.
That goes
touched
on
question.
for a while, but yeah. So I added him this morning. If I said something bad this morning, why was he nice to me in all those replies and trying to invite him to, and tried to invite me to his space twice? And then he says I'm irrelevant, but I'm all they talk about, even when I'm not in the space. So it's so stupid. I hate these guys playing victim mentality all the time. Meanwhile, they bully everyone that comes up on stage and interrupt them. It's so disrespectful. But yeah. Here's David's space guy being dumb again. So what happened was in David's space, I'll show this too. In David's space, the Springwater guy tried to come up. He said, Caesar, I have so many DMs. Of course it's DMs. It's not, public info. He's got to pretend it's private. So he said, I have so many DMs of people saying kick Caesar off stage. He's putting me to sleep, right? So I asked him to show me them, and he didn't. Of course he didn't. He still hasn't. And I call him on that right in here, but I actually went through David's space while I was live. I'm like, maybe they said that in here. So this guy says you'll know Caesar's right if that happens. Caesar's trying to sting. That's not really good or bad, I guess. Caesar's the Slim Shady of Web3. I'm guessing that Williams is going to post a bunch of pictures now. Suspicious not when asked to snap a pic in his garage. It would have been a checkmate for Williams against Caesar if he did it right then. Now it just looks bad. So that guy's got my back too. He's really on my case now. He's on my side now saying, where can we find the proof he has billions? Every time I listen on this space, I get frustrated because it's like the same 7 guys against one and they don't let them talk. Even when I disagree with the person, it's incredibly annoying. It's every single time. Then they accuse them of not letting them talk when it's them interrupting each other. Very true. But yeah, once again, I mean, all these guys right on my side again. And apparently, they're all these guys that aren't here are in Spring's DM saying, get Caesar off the stage, he's putting me to sleep. Caesar just called this guy out to show his calls and he can't, ha ha ha. Why is it Caesar versus 5 people? I love the fact that he challenged the establishment. I'm only a man. So, I mean, I don't even know most of these people. This guy thinks I'm farming. This guy's hilarious. He's in every single space with these guys, trying to make himself. He says, I love this guy because he's just farming you guys. I don't give a fuck about their stupid audience, okay? This is kind of fun for me, and I actually went in. Sometimes I go in there with the idea of like talking about stuff. Like, I wanted to ask David, why does Jason charge $3? I'm just curious if anyone has a good answer. I'm not even trying to start a fight. But if you don't go in there and suck their dicks and, support every single shill they talk about and you just want to talk about real shit, they won't let you. And they see it as you attacking them and then they play victim. But look at this guy. He's trying to farm and then he's shilling his coins in the comments. and he's like tagging her, trying to get her to recognize him because no one listens to him. So he's literally accusing me of the thing that he's doing. Verb sounds like David on helium. He's like, can someone give me any bit of recognition here as I shill my project? And then he talks about me farming. It's very funny. He's a clever farmer. Like, he's obsessed with me, you see? But yeah, I mean, the point is, Springwater says that, everyone's getting put. There he is again. Like, this guy's weird. I don't know. I thought there was more. Maybe I have to scroll down more. This guy called me a clown. Ouch. Oh, this guy's like a fucking David Maxey, but it's like, do you see a bunch of people saying to kick me off? Apparently it's all in his DMs. And then he comes out on this space and he claims the same thing again, and I ask him to show me the ones from last night or I'm not going to take you seriously. And he goes quiet. And then I say, show me the ones from today, and he says okay, and he didn't show them. So, I mean, it's just pathetic on his part, but here he goes.
I just said, just FYI, bro, like, I got like 30 different people DMing me about you. So I mean, if you really want to get this going, and you
This guy doesn't have 30
Wait,
DMs ever.
Springwater, how about before I take you seriously, show me the DMs from last night where you said everyone was complaining about me, and then I went through the comment section. Wait.
Caesar,
Then I went through the comment section, and they were all loving me. So I'll tell you.
Talking
the
over me.
DMs were that you were making people fall asleep, and you're doing it again probably.
No,
right
oh yeah,
now.
show me those then, because
I
the
have it
comment section
screenshotted.
loved me,
I
but
have
your
it
DMs were
screenshotted.
different.
Dude, I have
Makes
it
sense.
screenshotted. You really, I really
Yeah,
don't
show
You
it
care.
then.
can't bot a comment session?
Show it then. I mean, you guys know all about botting, apparently.
Yeah, these guys bring up botting a lot. That's
Yeah,
why I
we
was
do,
talking
because
about.
we've seen this shit
Oh,
before.
but you never did it,
32
right?
times,
Yeah.
bro.
Look how quiet they got.
We've seen the guys come from YouTube.
So, I mean, they talk about farming and botting stuff a lot. And, if you go in Alchemist space, the most obvious told his friends or botted or farmed, trying to make it look like, people were complaining about me just so they could get me off stage. But it's just funny, man. Like, these guys, everything they say, I ask for proof, and they don't bring it. And if you know me by now, I mean, I'll back up anything. I'll show you DMs with the dev, I'll show you timestamps, I'll show you my wallets, I'll show you every fucking thing you want to know. Like, if you saw my Ralph video, that's how you're supposed to expose someone. Not what the fuck these guys do. And here's a guy who says he found my wallets, right? And anyone who knows me knows I'm Canadian. I don't use Binance. You can't use Binance in Canada. And once again, I'll back up anything I say. So you want me to show you the tool I use? I use Endax.io. I'll show you all the transactions. That's how I get my money out of crypto. So this guy thinks he's found my Binance wallet. Actually, if you hear him closely, he says it's my paid promo wallet, and then he switches it to Binance. Now it's a Binance wallet. And I don't use Binance, brother. So it's like, I'll show you the transactions over I don't know when I switched to Endax. I was using like Coinbase before, but it shut down. And then KuCoin or some other thing. But eventually I got to Endax, and that's probably where the majority of my money's been taken out, is through that way. And then this guy talks about a Binance wallet that I don't even use. So here you go.
Telegram who knew me the best, and they have nothing.
Bro, there's no one on Telegram.
There's no one on
like that.
Telegram.
There's dudes from here that
You're
go on
showing how
Telegram.
stupid.
Hard
wrong
drop.
with
Went
you?
too far.
Not gonna work.
But like, I don't even try to start fights on some of these spaces.
Yo,
Like,
Caesar.
they invited me. And I was
They
asking
see
about
you,
Poly.
bro. What are you trying to be,
And
Mario?
it just turns into that
Out
because
of
they're
all of
just
your wallets,
idiots. Here you go.
study the wallet that ends in BB40 before you come at anyone on this stage. That's just taken
Alright,
me.
bro.
That's just
Yo,
taken
send
me.
me
guess
that,
I'll do
bro.
that.
No,
I mean,
wait.
Yo, send me that, bro.
Why be quiet about it though? Pin the wallet in your chat, bro.
All your
I'll give you all my
undisclosed paid
wallets right now.
promos.
This wascally wabbit.
No, the Binance Cash Out wallet that you use, bro.
Binance.
study
I don't
that.
cash
Tell
out
me-
through Binance, bro.
Tell
I'll give
me-
you the
yeah,
real
yeah,
wallets.
Of course
You're
you
clearly
do. Of course
confused.
you do. Tell me if it ends in BB40 before you come at anyone on this stage. And that's
Okay.
only taken me 3
Wait, hold on.
seconds to find
Hold on,
out.
I'll check.
If I spend 30 minutes on you, bro, I'll fucking make you delete your account.
Oh yeah, I'm
Don't
sure
come at
you
me,
will.
bro.
Hey, I'll
I'm sure you
sponsor
will.
that.
So
Yeah.
once again, just empty promises. He's never going to spend 30 minutes on me. And if he does, he's not going to find anything because there's nothing to hide. I mean, all I talk about is my honesty, my integrity. And these guys can't fucking question that because, I've gone at the biggest people before. I gave Venom my seed phrase after I knew him for a week. He'll tell you, I know nothing about crypto. I didn't even know you could have a second wallet until like a month or two in. So Venom knows that very well. And I've attacked Venom before. Has he ever said anything against me related to pump and dumps or lying or this or that? No. There's nothing. And then these guys who just, well, sometimes they say they knew me and sometimes they said they don't know me, whatever. Apparently in 3 seconds he's able to find all this crazy info. And then every time I ask him about it, he's got nothing to show. So that's what they do. They just divert you by bringing up random shit and there's nothing to it. And then that's how you just get distracted, and then eventually I just get annoyed and start yelling at them. But I mean, obviously I gave them like an hour. I'm never going to give these guys that much time again, but if they're civilized, even David, even though we had our disagreements, like I'll show you my DMs with these guys. I actually try to do the right thing. Like I'll show you my DMs with David now that that came up. Yeah, I mean, we can skip through this part, even though I was just going to cover it now, I guess, for the alpha. But I've just been showing that I try to give David a second chance. Even before I came at him the first time, I tried to give him a second chance. Because I saw some things I didn't like. And it's the same with Crash, you know. After the Crash finally unblocked me, I messaged him. And if you ever want to see the DMs, or you think I'm lying here, you know, some of the times I was a little rough in the DMs, and sometimes most of the time I'm just there giving him advice. But it goes with the alpha I'm trying to tell you now, which is one of the trends I see is a lot of people. It's like Travlad when he got his partnerships, right? They used to do very well, and then when he took on 3 different partnerships in the same week, every time he left the previous one, it would tank for the new one. So when a project success is directly relying on one person or one team or one component, I mean, it gets very weak the more you spread it out. So like Travlad had too many partnerships and they just followed him from one to the other. I remember even myself, when I first blew up, my impact went from like 20 to 50k market cap push on a chart to like 1 million or 2 million immediately. And because I did too many calls, because I wasn't used to that impact, let's say I did, 10 calls in a week, people would sell the old one and go to the new one. And that's what I was trying to warn Crash about today, is like, okay, you have conviction, that's great, but don't jump from one play to another and have conviction in all of them. Or, as soon as one play goes down, like heavy go down, I mean, people are going to lose trust in you and they're going to start jeeting the other ones. And once you spread your influence too thin and they're relying on you, then it's always been a terrible thing. And that's the main message I'm trying to get across to this kid before people get burned. And I hope he does it. But like all I'm telling him to do is just use disclaimers. So I guess that's part of the tip, is just like when there's a certain team or person or, component that's critical to a project success and they start spreading it too thin, it's always bad. Like look at Pauly. He does Pond, he does Porky, and then after that it's a complete shit show. He does 2 pump and dumps in one night, laughs in front of everyone's face about it, robs a bunch of money to throw back in his failed projects, and he calls it a social experiment. And people believed it. I mean, ridiculous. But since then, that pork community has been spread so thin. There's been like 5 projects they're involved with and Pauly, and they're just doing worse and worse and worse. And Pauly expects them to do the work. Like, I launched this for the community, or I supported it for the community. But they rely on him to do it. And then there's just this miscommunication. Everyone's relying on each other, and no one's putting the work in. And it happens between devs and communities too. It's like whatever. But when it's a certain person, like an influencer, it's just bad news. So, I mean, that's why I got a little bearish on Toshi once I heard their new game plans to do a launch pad. First off, a meme coin with the launch pad is dumb, but when you're locking your tokens up to get access to the launch pad, that's even worse. Now it's like staking in a way, and I've never been a fan of staking. But, now all the projects that launch off Toshi, all the volume starts going into those instead, and it's just basically trying to reward the Toshi holders in a way by making other projects. And the worse those start to do, the more bearish Toshi becomes. And that's what I've been trying to get across to Crash. But I just saw this Johnny Deacon guy. He's got a post saying he's gonna post a fucking pump and dump. I can't get this wrong, or people will say I'm a liar, because people are just crazy. But I have to find it real quick. Fuck, what's his name? Johnny Deacon. Yeah, I have to get the exact words, sadly. But he basically is saying he's gonna launch like a microcap, or he's gonna call a microcap. Oh yeah, there it is. So let me grab this real quick. Let me make sure. Okay, here we go. I have a wildcard base token that is brand new and yet to launch. End of this week / start of next. I may share it with my audience here if you want more info on it. It will be an additional high risk, very low cap play alongside my Brett. So it's like, that's desperation and bearishness. He's a very big part of Brett. And when, if Brett Telegram gets that project first, or the people that follow him get it first, it's basically he wants his holders to win so they can take their profits to Brett. And yeah, I do that with my calls maybe sometimes, but like this guy's not a caller. He's an influencer. Like he's a big part of Brett. He's like a teamer. I don't know what his role is exactly, but they have him in pictures. They say he's a big part of Brett. And that's just never a good sign. Like with Paulie and Pork in them, like Pork launched Pepe with Hat within their own community, and then they take the profits and pump it into Pork. And it's just a losing formula. Every fucking team that's done that, it's been a desperation move, and then it just tanks. And there's teams that do it even way worse than what these guys are planning. And with the teams, Salama's a great example. We did an AMA with Salama, it went great. Went from 10 mil, dipped down to like 2 or 3, and then straight up to like 160 or something. And that dev told me, his cousin's going to launch, and I told him no. I was like, don't support that. I sent him a 2-minute voice clip telling him why you shouldn't do that, the dangers of doing that. And then he still went on with it. And after that, he's done like 10 projects, and I never called any of them. Because as soon as they start tanking, everything involved with him looks bad. And it just gets worse and worse when you spread it out too thin. And that's why I've always been against devs who launch other projects while their one's alive. Unless their main project's amazing, or it's lasted like 6 months or a year, and they have a team running it now or something, then I'm like, okay. But I could name like 8 different projects and teams who that's their game plan right now. And that's a very common game plan going around. The holders of their favorite coin get the info first. They try to pump it up, make their holders money, and then throw that money into the main coin. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case with Brad or Toshi or whatever else, but that's just a pattern that I see. And that's why I'm trying to warn Crash. I'm trying to warn you guys about this Brett thing if this becomes common. It's just never been a good thing. Especially when teams do it. When teams do it, it's basically scamming in my opinion. So that's why I never called the next 9 plays by the Salama Dove. But anyways, that was the alpha tips there. We'll skip the Crash and David. Oh shit, where is this? We'll skip the Crash and David DMs.
Fucked on him last night.
And we still have the private group link. It could be in this video. It's going to happen quick. Or it could be the next one. So here we go.
I said.
Oh, I can't see.
Pork money that he farmed.
See, I'm talking about Pork.
And that's almost what Crash though.
That's just my DMs with Crash since he unblocked me.
Like, it's good advice.
It was civil, believe it or not. Like, he's mad I attacked him, but like, dude, this Dan guy looks so untrustworthy. And, he's literally got the protocol for base farm, like airdrop farming. And I'm just like, bro, you have to make sure that's 100% safe, though. I mean, your name's on that, whether you like it or not. Your name's attached to it because you're supporting Dan very hard, and that's the first thing I see on Dan's page now. And Dan's got a history of, he's got a rugged project on his page where he said, I launched this. And it was a scam, so, I mean, you gotta be careful with stuff like that. And even if Dan's legit somehow, I mean, how do you know he got good devs to do it? There's so many scam devs out there. You always have to have that in the back of your mind. But anyways, I'll skip through this DM part. I just kind of give you guys the down low there. Or even explain the problem on them. It's a, I spent way too much time on this. I want to get back to the clips. Dan's farming thing ends up being a scam. There's the farm potential thing. There's no, I'm not targeting someone. I'm just warning people. Watch my Ralph video. Oh, here we go. There's a clip still. I'm sorry for this. and that would be fucking tragic. But yeah, sorry, I went on a little rant there. Let's get to here's this Cax guy who has all my wallets. You know, he's wrong about the Binance thing, and now he's gonna tell us how he's tracked my wallets, and it adds up to the timestamps on my page, which obviously he watched my Ralph video. Now he's trying to pretend he's done the same thing here. So I'm like, okay, can you name one? And he has nothing. He has no name. And eventually he ends up talking about a Joker space. I got paid to host a space with Joker. Ask any dev around, anyone who's ever been on any of my spaces. That's how you do proper research, by the way, to confirm something. You find me one instance of someone paying me to be on my spaces, and yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'll delete my Telegram channel, I'll delete everything, because it hasn't happened. So I call him on it, and he's got 0 names for me, and that's all they do. Just baseless claims.
These wallets link up with all the shills that you've done and match with the timestamps as
Okay,
well.
prove it. Do you know
Prove
how many
it?
paid promos I've had in the last month? 2 months? I've done like none.
You see the
So
prove
which
it?
promos
I
have
know
you
Voice
done?
a lot,
raising
bro.
higher
I
than he
know a lot.
laughs.
No, which paid promos?
Yeah.
And
No,
you're,
no, no, no,
you're
no.
not disclosing
No.
any of this.
Let's have him answer it. Let's see how full of shit he is. So
You
which
live
paid
in the
promos?
U.S., bro? You live in the U.S.?
How many have you done in the last 24 months, Caesar?
You see, they're talking about the US, how many I've done in the last 24 months. What are you talking about? You're the one who just accused me. You said you have the timestamps and it matches up. Why are you asking me how many I've done? Shouldn't you have that? Don't you have my wallet? Don't you have the timestamps? Why don't you tell me how many I've done in the last week, month, anything? He can't even give me a name because he doesn't have the right wallets and he's lying. And you guys might not think it's a big deal, but anytime you find a liar, if they lie about the small things, then it's probably a lot deeper than you think.